Kia ora koutou, welcome to today's Friday Live. Imposter Syndrome, that's the topic today, that's what I want to talk about. I was last week in Auckland at the Women in Construction conference speaking about Imposter Syndrome, and this week I've received some of the feedback. So thank you for all those that took the time to give feedback, and thank you for your lovely comments. And here's the thing I want to talk about. So after the Imposter Syndrome presentation at the conference last week, a lot of people said how much it resonated on my presentation. They used words like flawless, brilliant, amazing. So thank you for that. But if you were there or you've been at any of my talks, you'll know that I talk about not always being a public speaker. This is something new for me, something I've had to learn. And for the first year of me speaking, I couldn't hold a handheld mic because my hand shook that much, and I'd have to refer to my notes all the time, so I'd literally have the mic in one hand, notes in the other, and both my hands would be doing this. And it wasn't a good look, because I was always an author first and foremost. So I wrote books before I started to being asked to get in front of people and speak about it. And that's what happened with Imposter Syndrome. So as many writers will tell you, we're naturally quite introverted people. We like sitting behind a desk, writing, not really talking to anyone. So public speaking in front of sometimes hundreds of people was massively outside of my comfort zone, and something I've had to learn, and something, interestingly, I've come to enjoy, and from the comments I keep getting, something that I'm good at. And here's the thing, so I talk about imposter syndrome. I've done this many times. I know from people's comments and feedback that I'm doing a good job at this. However, and here's where imposter syndrome flares up. You'll have seen that last month I was confirmed for a conference next year in May with a pretty star-studded lineup. I guess it's the most celebrity lineup I've been a part of. And my imposter syndrome really reared its head at this point. When I saw myself, so I'm on the agenda just after Mike King speaks and shortly before Gemma McCord takes the stage. And when I saw myself, my little picture alongside these celebrities, my first thought and my go-to was, oh no, I don't belong here. These guys are all celebrities. They have thousands of people following them. They do this all the time. They're professionals. They know what they're doing. And that's imposter syndrome in action. And that was my imposter syndrome in action. And how crazy, because that's the topic I'm speaking about. That's the topic I've become an expert on. Yet there's still this part of my mind that questions, do I belong here? Am I as good as everybody else? That's what happens when we get outside of our comfort zone. And of course it applies to lots of other things, not just public speaking. So it's when we're invited to speak to the senior leadership team to deliver a presentation or a report, and we think to ourselves, do I belong with all these very senior important people? Am I as good as them? Who am I to be an expert on this subject? It applies when we go for a new job or we get a promotion and these feelings rise within us. Or when we're in a new relationship and we're thinking, do I deserve this awesome, amazing person I've just met? And are they going to get bored with me? And that's imposter syndrome in a nutshell. That fear of being found out. That sense of, I'm not as good as people think I am, or I don't belong here because everybody else is better. And I think particularly where celebrities are concerned, or people we aspire to be, and people we put in almost a superhuman category, we tend to think they're really awesome and amazing and superhuman and therefore different to me. And that's means that we'll never measure up, and of course that exacerbates these feelings of imposter syndrome then. But what I wanted to say, and my point of this live today, was it's normal and it's part of having imposter syndrome, which 70% of us suffer from. So that's quite a lot, and it happens when we get outside of our comfort zone. Whenever we challenge ourselves, whenever we risk failing, whenever we feel fear, that's generally when our imposter syndrome voice raises its head and says to us, hey, I don't know if you can do this, and I don't know if you're as good as everybody else seems to think you are, whether it's the job you've just been given, the relationship you're in, or you're pushing outside your comfort zone, you've taken on a new project, you've been confirmed in a lineup of celebrities that, let's face it, you've probably worked for most of your career, but still that imposter syndrome voice takes its opportunity to raise its fears when we're getting outside of our comfort zone. So I wanted to share that with you today. I am around for one more week, so a week today I'll be flying to England to have Christmas with my family, so I'm really excited and looking forward to that. And to be honest, pretty much winding down for the year. I know there's this sense when we get to the end of the year that all of a sudden we've got to cram everything in and get it finished before Christmas because most of us will be off for summer. But for me, I'm kind of taking the time to wind down. I have worked very hard in November to make sure everything is set up for December. There's a number of specials running as well that you've probably seen. There'll be some coaching specials in the new year. Keep an eye out for those because they're very limited. We've also only got 3 more of the Christmas gift packages left. So that's the signed copy of the book with a beautiful gratitude journal, beauty products and a handmade candle with an online course included. You can still get one of those, but only if your order is in by Thursday of next week. I'll pop the link in this live. And if you're looking for some strategies on how to deal with your own imposter syndrome, they're all on my website, and there's some videos, blogs that will help you in that space, and I'll pop that link in this live for you as well. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Mā te wā.